my core belief is this stuff is accessible. It just depends on how badly you want it. That's really what
Absolutely.
it comes down to at the end
That's
of the
what it
day.
comes down to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just how bad
Yeah.
you want it.
I think a lot of small businesses, and from your experience too, they get stuck. They build themselves a job basically because
Right.
they're stuck on doing the day-to-day. I see a lot of small businesses. They're really in bad shape. Like the founder, they have the key man risk, small business, they can't leave the business.
Yep.
They created themselves. They didn't want to work for someone else, but they didn't have a system. This is like a burger joint near me. There are a lot of burger places, right? These guys took it from one location to 6, 7 location in 18 months, right? When you look at, and they had zero experience in running burger joints, but I know the founder, when I look at what they do, they invest in themselves a lot. They go to other conferences, they talk to other people, like trade shows, and they get coaching from other people who've done it before, because there's a recipe for success. It's just not intuitive. Like when people say, I trust my gut, there's not a lot of good things going on in your gut. You don't know that unless you came from a wealthy family and all of that stuff is passed down. But that's like the 1% of the country. The likelihood of that happening is very low, right? So we just have to embrace that. So let's talk about your journey at BLB. Like what's been happening? What are some of the things that you like? Maybe what are some of the things that you would have improved? So we're open for feedback too. So let's hear that and we can kind of close it off with that.
Sure thing. Definitely, I think that the new process with just, submitting your loan documentation directly to BLB, it's helping me because again, I don't want to act as if I'm this, expert or anything like that. You can't be good at everything, right? So for me, it's painless. I submitted a loan. I just did one, I think week before last, if I'm not mistaken. And I just did another one this past week. And it's ultimately like effortless. The commission structure is just, it's very simple. It's given me something to strive toward. So, of course, you get so many points if you're just kind of using it as like a referral base. But if you have more involvement, of course, you get more points. I think that's been, wonderful for me. And it's also allowing me, if I'm just going to be transparent, to build up my confidence, in selling this particular product, because I know that there's a back office that exists. And if something doesn't work, or, perhaps if, I didn't do something correctly, it's not the end of the world. So I know I can send an email to, or something like that, and they can answer whatever questions. And of course, I'm one of those people, I hate looking stupid. So it's like, I just...
We all have that level of ego, right? I think it comes from like a higher education too. Like when you go through the layers, you're like, oh, I don't want to look bad. That just the sticker or the carrot thing helps a lot. Like I better figure this out. Like
Exactly. So it was, really funny story. So my very first pitch, it was to a real estate group. So there's like 3 real estate developers and 2 real estate investors on this Zoom call.
Oh boy.
And I'm trying to pitch BOV. And of course, they're like, they're asking me all these questions, and I'm just like, so, but thank God, I was very transparent with them. Certain things I said I would need to talk to, underwriting to get a better understanding about, or get a better answer rather for their particular question. I sent the email. I got a response back in like 15 minutes. And so I was able to put that, in this, I made this whole memo in which, I put their questions and I was able to answer it. And I put my letterhead, of course, on top.
Nice.
Really professional, and I sent it back to them, and I actually got an application from one of the guys.
Wow.
Weeks later. So he loved the presentation. I'm just like, wow, no, this would not have happened had your program not been structured, the way that it's structured, because, Chat GPT and Google can only go so far.
Especially in alternative lending, even ChatGPT doesn't know the industry a whole lot. You touched on a great point. That's why we structured it that way, because I was thinking about this. How do we get through the learning curve? Because at the end of the day, our members make money when a deal is funded. Yes. Lenders make money when a deal is funded. So how do we get a deal funded? I like to reverse engineer things. So we can do it in 3 different ways. One is what we create, the refer and earn, right? So you don't touch the deal, you send leads, and we do the entire work on your behalf. That's great for people who are not comfortable pitching, selling. I know you're comfortable in front of the camera. You've been through probably 1,000 presentations and things like that in front of groups. You're going to nail that. But if your skill set in that is 1 and you're trying to perform at 10, that gap is big, but that shouldn't stop you from making money. That's why we create the refer and earn. Then there are people, which is you more in line with that. I can get the lead, I can get the files, but I'm not going to pitch it yet since I don't understand the potential questions, the FAQ, the whole closing process. Okay, we create the partner and earn. You bring the file, but we do the closing on your behalf, right? And the last one is broker and earn. If you're confident in all three areas, you need to have access to the higher tier lenders. You want to have better quality offers, right? For example, an offer from will almost always beat other offers from other lenders because they can do the line of credit and all that stuff. Yeah, I need those. Then you can do it. We're not going to force you to do it. We just want people to choose their comfort level, put the ego to the side initially. As Tony Robbins says, the best way to learn is immerse yourself. You're going to learn a lot more from a deal that you're putting through than watching 1,000 of my videos, like trying to learn how to swim through reading a book, right? You can only go so far. You got to get in the water, but how deep you get in will be your comfort level. We still have a lot of people on a given monthly, over $1 million is funded just on refer and earn. People just send the lead. You got this girl, she has her own closer team and all that stuff. Good, done. Others like you who are more curious, they have a high level of intellectual curiosity, they want to understand the process, then no better way than putting your own deals through, learning the process so you get to a point of, all right, I feel comfortable presenting in front of 30 people right now. Then you get to that point, right? So when I design it that way, I'm like, wow, it worked. That was the plan.
It was genius, because I'll give you a little scenario about me. Right out of grad school, I went to work for a Fortune 100 financial firm.
Wow.
When I went to the financial firm, it was, I'm not going to mention the name, but it was very similar to Boiler Room. So everything was about produce. And so I would go to my managing director and I'm going, well, how do I explain this product? They're like, don't worry about it. Just get the appointment. And I'm just like, but for me at least, for authenticity's sake, I want to at least be able to answer some questions and give them a reason to even schedule this appointment with me, so ELB, I can at least, converse on the subject. I might not be able to go too deep on the subject, but I can at least kind of answer some of the surface level questions. And for me, I'm very goal oriented. I'm like, okay, I'm giving myself a year and I want to be at that broker and earn stage. I want to be able to do all three. So very hands-on with it. And at the end of the day, Oz, my goal, it probably sounds very cliche, I really want to help people. It's not just about money for me. So for me, it's not just about handing over a deal, letting someone close it, and I just count the money in the bank account.
Yeah.
I really want to help. I really want to be advantageous, for the community that I serve. And so that's why I'm so hands-on with everything. I know probably gets tired of me sending emails.
All right. She loves it, honestly. So when people are really, really passionate about the process, and you said something really, really key there, it's really important. Your income is in direct proportion to the size of the problem you solve for people, right? So I rarely see someone making a lot of money when they don't care about helping other people. That's just simple as that. Because personally, if it is all transactional, you reach that level pretty fast, then you get tired of it. People experience burnouts and things like that. That's why people tell me, hey, Oz, you work like 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. How do you not burn out? You don't really burn out if it is a mission, right? So it's not like a torture that I'm putting myself through. I'm really enjoying the process. So it's just a part of my being right now. So you're not going to burn out if you do that. And that's why that's like, yeah, I know it sounds cliche, but helping people is going to keep you going because there's no end to it, right? So money is a huge help. You open the door for someone to get access to capital, all of a sudden they're a step closer to their dream. And then if you help them build that, you might save their entire lineage, not just today. Look at your childhood, my childhood. Like if someone didn't make the tough decision, man, I don't know what would we become. Like, honestly, we can take all the credit saying that we work hard, but someone started the chain at some point,
Right. I'm just standing on top of a giant's shoulders,
Absolutely. There's no other way. And people like you and us here, we're just trying to be that person, right? For someone to give them a little bit of lift, they already want to do well. because you can't help someone who doesn't want to do well anyways. Like they're going to fall through. But if someone has that, but they're working against the odds and a lot of disadvantages, can we ease that even by 10, 15%? That's going to be life-changing for them.
Absolutely. You know, my dad's story, you know, with him starting his business afforded me a private school education. And, you know, that's pretty uncommon for my community. You know, so for me growing up in Los Angeles, you know, I was able to do that, and it afforded me so many additional opportunities. And, you know, my dad, while he's a hero, what he did was not impossible. You know, and that's my core belief, is this stuff is accessible. It just depends on how badly you want it. That's really what it comes down to.
That's what it comes down to. Yeah.
This is how bad you want
it. If you try to wake someone up to get them motivated, it's not going to work, right? They need to have at least that much in them, but maybe they lack the direction and the resources, and you provide help on that, and that's going to go a long way. This was great, man. Anything I can do for you meanwhile?
No, I am really good.
And it was really lovely. Looking forward to meeting you in person too and taking it from there.
Okay, take care, Oz. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.